And now we'll say is the time for our historical tribute, a tribute in which we highlight significant events and people in our past. So and now we'll say is the time for our historical tribute, a tribute in which we highlight significant events and people in our past. So at least 7 generations of our history lives on through our voices. This morning, I want to highlight Cyril DeGrasse Tyson, who was a leader in developing urban social policy in New York City, a leader who devoted his life to the empowerment of all who are disenfranchised. Born in New York City in 1927 to parents from the Caribbean island of Nevis, he began public service after earning a bachelor's in sociology from St. Francis College and a master's in social service from Columbia. During the extreme turbulence of the late 1960s, Tyson worked in New York City agencies empowering communities which in many other cities were embroiled in unrest. He served as New York City's Deputy Administrator of Human Resources and Commissioner of Manpower and Career Development under the mayor. Tyson served as Project Director of Harlem Youth Opportunities Unlimited, HARU. He was later Executive Director of the HARU Associated Community Teams, a part of LBJ's War on Poverty. Tyson also joined baseball great Jackie Robinson, Tuskegee Airman Dr. Roscoe Brown, businessman J. Bruce Llewellyn, civil rights leader Robert Mangum, and future Mayor Dinkins to found the 100 Black Men Incorporated. The 100 Black Men is one of our strongest Ile Omide supporters to this day. In the following clip, his comments about the 100 Black Men apply to many organizations, including WOSE.
I'm happy and honored and flattered to receive a medal like this, particularly while I'm alive. As a former athlete and a public official, I've received many awards. I will cherish this the most. I don't smoke the cigars anymore. I will cherish this the most because it's been given to me by my peers. The people who I've worked with, who I grew up with, who we fought and argued and talked about the better ways to make things happen for Black people in this country. I would like to say one thing. One of the problems we've had within our communities is putting the burden on any one organization to do everything for everybody. I remember when people said, well, Urban League wasn't doing enough and NAACP wasn't doing enough, not understanding that they had different mandates, and the main thing was that they did well what their mandate was and what they were organized to do. And a lot of people have said, well, 100 Black men are now middle-class blacks. We started out with really only governmental people at the beginning because there wasn't anybody else. There wasn't much of us. And then we said we got businessmen in and we talked that through and so on. It's been broadened. But I've heard the complaints, young people saying to me, oh, they don't do anything. They meet and have fun and all that sort of business. You can't do everything for everybody. We represent a quality of leadership. We tackle serious issues. We take positions on issues. But what is important, and we have done it, is we figure out a way to help other people do the things that they know how to do best. And that's very important. I want to leave one word about what I would like to see in the years ahead. I would like to see us figure out a way to establish in this town a think tank. We've got now presidents who are Black, affiliated with colleges and universities. I think we need a think tank. I think we need a place to put all these folks, judges and others, when they retire and have all their best wisdom, and nowhere to put it in a place where they're close to research and academia, where they can go in and out, where students can relate to them, and where, for God's sakes, I can see some Black folks talking on the news programs on Sunday and the public service programs, and they're asking, what's your position about Africa or whatever. I always see somebody from Georgetown University, strategic, whatever, given a position of international consequence. And we don't have any places for those folks who had spent their lives gaining all of that knowledge to begin write their books, impart that knowledge, become teaching fellows like I was up at Harvard, where you can teach other people. And I think that we now have the clout, we have the leverage, we know where the bodies are, and I think that we could go a long way towards helping something like that get established in New York. Not for us to run it, but for us to create the context within which black folks from around the country appropriately can spend time doing their research and writing their books and playing their role in the development of both domestic and international policy. Thank you very much.
Tyson also founded Optimum Computer Systems, a firm providing software design, research and development, and organizational analysis. Later, he was vice president of public and community affairs for the City College of New York, where he led a multi-agency workshop on technology development in Nigeria. In the following clip, he offers prescient insight on the trouble coming when whites no longer have supermajority status.
Earlier this month, it was reported that by the middle of this century, people of color, or some strange looking people, other than what we call today Caucasians, will be 50% of the population of the United States. So I'm here to say to you, the job has just begun. Because at that time, America is going to be in trouble. And the young people you've been working with are going to be the leaders that are going to have to help America survive. And you are going to help them develop the skills to meet that challenge. I'm not going to be around. I'm 84 years old. I'll be 85 in a couple of months. Thank you. But I want you to keep that in mind. It's not over because you beautiful people have done a tremendous job. It's just beginning. Thank you.
In high school and college, Tyson was a track star in middle distance races. And in the still segregated U.S. Army, he competed in the 1946 GI Olympics in Berlin. By 1950, he held the fifth fastest time in the world at 600 yards. After college, he competed for the Pioneer Club, an organization founded to sanction Black and Jewish athletes barred from the New York Athletic Club. Mayor Dinkins said, he brought hope and opportunity to those who had been disenfranchised from the American dream for decades. And our great city owes them the humblest of thanks.
Okay, I'm not drunk, it's just that I have 2 titanium hips for the last 20 years. But I can still live it. I'm so happy to be here this evening, first to be alive. I'm 87. All right. And to see the development over these years of the organization. Some people have said to me over time, well, what's taken 100 men so long? How come they're not tackling this, that, and the other? And those people sometimes forgot or did not understand how difficult the issues were that had to be tackled, particularly when, as Black people, women, men, children, and so on, were not connected in a way that they could deal with these issues. And the assumption was, oh, well, you've got this job, that job, you ought to be able to just go ahead and do it. They didn't know how insidious it was that even the governments, whether it be city government or federal government or state government, found ways to make sure that you really couldn't get together, that you could not have what I always call the multiplier effect, that your individual talents meshed with others could in fact begin to create the change. And I have seen that happen. I've seen all of you working together, taking care of your own business, but also taking care of the country's business. I see gray hairs for people I've known for some time. Even our president has turned gray. So let me say, from my perspective, I remember talking about economic development and how we can leverage. And now I see people in this room talking about business and how do you do this and how do you do that, and what does it take to tie stuff together. And at the same time, working with our youth, bringing them along, creating the environment where they could move and be successful down the road. So I'm here today to thank all of you, for the hard work that you have put in. And again, I am happy to have lived this long to see this kind of achievement. And I know this is just the beginning.
All right. Cyril DeGrasse Tyson joined the ancestors at 89. Survived by his wife of 64 years, Sanchita Feliciano Tyson, his son, artist Joseph Tyson, his daughter, business exec Lynn Antipas Tyson, and his son, scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson, his sister, Joan Fortune, nieces and nephews, and 6 grandchildren. Those he touched can speak of him most clearly.
Cyril Tyson came in and determined through the war on poverty, he was going to take people who had the talent but never had the opportunity and quote unquote make them executives. He made me, because when I went into UCC, I'd come out of a factory. He made me an assistant personnel director and then a personnel director. And he showed that if you had the talent and wanted to work hard, that you could make it. He did that with so many of us.
And so this morning we pour libation for Cyril DeGrasse Tyson. Ashe.